I noticed on my last few videos people have been leaving comments saying how much they like my response videos better. Well, I'm nothing if not a people pleaser, although admittedly I'm not that great at it. So, I got myself a nice classy mason jar full of coffee and found a video that somebody asked me to respond to quite some time ago. Now, what I'm going to do in this video is I am going to act as an intermediary, using my mad skizzles, and translate what a vagina-having feminist is saying to her male feminist allies.
So I've been thinking a lot about dudes lately, and not in a fun way. Not in a man-hating way either, just, thinking.
I came here today not to praise my male feminist allies, but to bury them.
About male allies in particular, male feminists, if you will. And I feel like I got a lot to say. Let's start here. I love me some allies. You do work that I can't do. You support me in my missions. You treat me with dignity and respect. You're not scum.
You see, I care about your feelings, so I'm giving you this approval now, in the hopes that it will sustain you for what is to come.
And that's awesome. But some of you aren't doing so great. Some of you call yourselves feminists and then do some really sexist, misogynist things.
You're a valued employee, but I have some grave concerns about the quality of your work. And don't worry, this is just a verbal warning. Just something that you should be aware of so you can address. But you really should take it seriously.
Some of you talk a really good talk, but when it comes to applying feminist values to your everyday lives, really don't walk the walk too well. And I'm just confused. So I wanted to give you a few reminders, just a few, on how to be a good ally. So, dear feminist men, you still have social power in every interaction you have in a day. Yes, even with fellow feminists.
With great power comes great responsibility. So you have a responsibility with your power to do what I and the female feminists tell you to do, with no deviation now, because that's the responsibility of your power.
Just because I'm a feminist and you're a feminist doesn't mean that when we have a conversation, magically socialization goes out the window. Think about that actively, please.
You see, you're a feminist, I'm a feminist, we're equal partners in this fight for equality. So, in that spirit of fairness, we will both equally do what I think each of us respectively should be doing. That's just fair.
You have a duty to amplify the voices of women. That means you should share our work. It means you should reference our resources.
See, I think you're misapprehending your role in this partnership. I think it would be best to think of yourself as a bullhorn with chest hair. See, it's an equitable division of labor. The women say things, and what we want you, men, to do is repeat them louder.
It means that if you get called to be on a panel, you need to ask whether or not there's a woman on that panel too. Yeah, even if the panel is on masculinity.
Think about it this way. Would you yoke up 4 horses to a carriage and then just let them run willy-nilly without anyone to direct them with a whip? Of course you wouldn't. That's irresponsible. You don't want to be irresponsible.
Because just like you can talk about feminism, we can talk about manhood.
Something that makes sense.
We're well versed in manhood. Speaking of masculinity, could you not make everything about you? Part of breaking down patriarchal norms involves deconstructing hegemonic masculinity.
'Twas Brillig and the slivy toves did gyre and gimble in the wabe. All mimsy were the borogoves, and mome wraths outgrabe. Beware the jabberwock, my son, the jaws that bite, the claws that catch. Beware the jubjub bird, and shun the frumious bandersnatch.
Talking about how patriarchy stifles men and how to strive toward a more positive masculinity is important and necessary work. Keep doing it. But if the bulk of your feminist work is putting the focus on men, you're kind of missing the point. Do both. Trans guys exist. I've seen so many lists coming out lately, like, the top 10 feminist dudes you want to follow on Twitter, or like 5 feminist dudes doing great work, which is cool, but then it turns out they're all cisgender.
Now I know what you're thinking. Trans people comprise less than 1% of the population, and of those, most are trans women. So it would probably be difficult to find, a trans man who had the elocution skills, the passion, the knowledge, and the inclination to speak up on such issues as feminism, and then disproportionately integrate them into a panel. But keep this in mind, I don't pay you to make excuses. In fact, I don't pay you at all.
If you're going to compile or be featured in a list of kick-ass feminist men, make sure trans guys are included. And if you don't have any trusted go-tos already, sounds like you've got homework.
Listen up, you need me more than I need you. I make one phone call and you're selling shitberries out of an Uzbek gas station.
Let's talk about sex. Remember how I was saying that you can't just shut off your socialization? That also applies in sex. Like, I have actually seen so-called feminist guys get women to sleep with them just by virtue of being feminist guys.
See, I know that I've been giving you a pretty tough job, so I just thought I'd mention here that if you stay the course, there is mad swag to be had from that.
That's fucked up. Don't use feminism to get laid. That's not what it's here for.
But I did just outline how it's totally possible, so it's not looking so bad around here now, is it?
You could argue that feminism is supposed to be sexually liberating, but yeah, for women. You already get to have promiscuous sex. You already get to experience sexual pleasure.
And because you're the type of man who becomes a feminist, the women you fuck, they don't. And that's not fair.
You already have all of mainstream sexuality culture focused on you. Don't use feminism as an excuse to use people.
Feminists have a sense of humor, demonstrated thusly.
Speaking of feminist guys and sex, look, I'm really glad that you enjoy going down on women. Right on.
I am overjoyed that you understand that I am the NASCAR, and you're the pit crew. But
it's kind of weird when you bring it up all the time. Like, I love eating pussy. Me too. What do you want, a cookie?
You don't see the pit crew advertising their services. They're on the track with a bunch of tools. The guy in the car can infer from this that they're there to service his car. Likewise, if you're a feminist man, we know that you like going down on women, or at least that you're going to say that you do, but shh. This is our show, okay? Just do it when it's time, and then shutty.
And I get what you're trying to do. You're trying to show that you're not like one of those guys who thinks that cunnilingus is gross or that vulvas are ugly.
I am clearly a racist.
Will you tell your friends to shut the fuck up? Like, I know that attempted allyship is exhausting. My cousins are always posting racist shit on Facebook, and I'm like, guys, I don't feel like getting into this right now. But you know what else is exhausting that people don't feel like getting into all the time? Oppression.
See, I know where you're coming from. Here my cousins post these things, and because I don't want to cause a lot of drama and needless fighting with my cousins, I just say I can't deal with it, and I move on. So in fairness, what I'm going to need you to do is confront your friends and tell them to shut their mouths. See, you thought you were just signing away your soul. Oh, no. Foolish. No. You're going to need to become the de facto leader of your group of friends and also own their souls. It's only fair.
So do the right thing and say something. Hey dude, maybe when you talk about your girlfriend you shouldn't sexually object.
Okay, I'm getting bored now, and I feel like I've translated enough. Just for some entertainment, watch a nifty trick I can do. See my hands? Oh my god, how's he so flexible? Most people gotta use their hands for that shit. Ooh. Just as meaningful as whatever she was saying. Everybody have a nice night.